Hello and welcome to Rims Models. This is my fourth update of the MINIART X TRAM. Okay, this is the tram now masked off and sprayed in grey MIG ammo one-shot primer. And this is the scheme I've gone for. I've gone for red on the bottom and yellow on the top. And it's big good metal on the roof. So this is the red I've chose. It's Tamiya flat red XF7. So all we've got to do, we've only got to spray to the top of the window. So where my finger is, that'll be red. So I've got the paint thinned with Tamiya XF20A. I'd say it's about 60% paint, 40% thinners, and I'm spraying at about 20 psi. So all I'm doing, nice light coats, building it up in layers. Don't go too thick. You don't want to put it on too quick. Nice and light. And like I said, all I'm doing is spraying up to the bottom of the window. And then it'll be what as well. It'll be like that all the way around. And the doors, the whole of the door will be red. So there, nice and light. Don't go mad. I'm just showing you there where the doors will be, and now, like I said, they'll all be painted red. Now this is all the bottom finished. All the way around. I've masked the lights, the light lenses I've masked with Vallejo masking putty. Now I'll make a start on the roof. Again, it's primered in MIG one-shot grey primer, and the actual colour will be gunmetal X10, Tamiya X10. Again, thinned 60% paint, 40% finish. And the air pressure still 20 psi. So what you're doing now, nice light coats, making sure you get it from all angles, so keep moving it. Make sure it's all sprayed, you've got it from every angle, because you don't want no primer showing through. But the whole of the roof will be gunmetal, and then the two wooden bits on the end will be sprayed brown. So spray it all over. Like I said, keep moving it and make sure you get it from all angles. Right, now that's all done now. So what I'm showing you now is I've left the gunmetal in the colour cup, and then I've just lightened it with some white, and I'm going to do a modulation. But I've gone a bit thinner this time. I'd say I've put about another 10% of thinners in, so it's about 70% thinners now. And I've just turned the pressure down a little bit. And all I'm doing is spraying in the middles. Yeah, so it's actually a modulation. Just keep it in, don't go right to edges. You just make it look like it's got a bit of sun wear on it, like. That's all you're doing. Just keep it in the middles. And then what I do then, I do all the high points as well. Just keeping it nice and thin. It's nice and steady. And that's the effect you're going for. I think you can just make it out. So I'm doing on top of the lights as well. So basically this is it finished. There, you can just make it out. And then this is it from the other end. Unfortunately I went a bit thick there. Well, that'll soon dry out. It'll flatten out, that will. So there. Right. Now what I've done now, I've masked off the bottom half, and we're going to spray the top half the yellow now. and the colour I've chose is this one here, which is MINIART XF59, which is desert yellow. And all I'm doing is spraying the top half all the way around. Now make sure as well you spray it all from all angles, making sure you get everywhere covered. And I've done the same again, thinned it with MINIART X20A, about 20 psi again, and about 60% paint, 40% thinners. I don't know if that's exact, but it's somewhere around that. And just keep nice and lightly, nice light coats, just nice and lightly. Like I said, keep moving the airbrush, making sure you get everywhere covered, because you don't want grey plastic showing through. All the way up as well. I've masked all the top off so the paint doesn't get inside as well. And there we go, look. See, I'm moving the airbrush around. This is me just showing you where, making sure you get all the corners, all the edges. I've managed to leave the glass out as well. It's easy enough to fit in. I've left the roof off so I can put the glass in. A bit easier than trying to mask it all. Well, yeah, I think it's a nice colour. I think it's a good colour. It contrasts with the red really nice. There we go. Nice and light. You still want to make sure there's a bit of pre-shading coming through. Okay, so don't go mad as well, because you don't want now paint to go underneath the masking tape. So that's it actually finished. So what I'm going to do now, I shall start removing the masking tape and show you the end results. So here we go. This is the first piece off. That looks good. It'll be the next piece that will be the one. Hopefully there's no paint bleed underneath. As long as you take your time, and I'm sprayed flat as well, flat to it instead of down, so that should reduce it a lot. But as you can see, it's perfect line, that is. Pleased with that. It's like unwrapping your presents on Christmas Day, this is. Yep. And the grab handles on the sides there, they'll be gunmetal. But make sure as well you get inside the door as well. So we're still unmasking. And also just be careful when you're pulling the mask off. You don't be pulling any parts off or pulling the paint off. But to me, paint is really hard wearing, so. And it had a couple of days to dry, so it shouldn't peel any off. The bottom as well, I'll talk you through the bottom when I get to it. We'll keep taking the masks off. Like I said, nice and careful, you don't want to be pulling any parts off. Here we go. I had to mask the doorways off, obviously to stop the overspray going in. But I should paint the door separate. So you've got to be gentle here, because there's a lot of small parts on the bottom. You don't want to be pulling them off. Okay, sorry about my hands being in the way. Oh god, sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. But there we go. There's the bottom. You can just about make the bottom out. Right, that's what it's going to look like. The bottom half is XF85, to me XF85, which is rubber black. Then the springs the gunmetal. So that's it all unmasked with the roof. The roof's only dry fitted at the moment. That's what it's going to look like. So I'm pleased with that. That's just me showing you the handle. The grab handles will be gunmetal. Well, that's how much masking tape I used. Bet nearly the size of a tennis ball. So, but it was worth it. I think it's come out great. And just met the inside. Unfortunately, I knocked one of the seats off while I was pulling the mask out. That was easy enough to fit back on. As you can see, there's the modulation on the top. I think that's come out good. I've done no work on the diorama base yet, but that's actually come with the kit, that is. Everything you see has come with the kit up till now. There's a couple of things I'll show you later on when we get to it that never come with the kit. Well, as you see, I can take the roof off. That there is off white, and all I did was I took some Tamiya white and added some of that yellow into it to make it off white, and then I sprayed it all that, and then I made it a bit lighter then and did a modulation. The handles there is just a bit of wire I had. Okay. Them bits there are got to be brown. If you take your time with your gluing, the top bit moves as well. Okay. Like I said, see how you can just make out the inside. That's all a brown XF64 base coat. Then I chipped it, and then I did what colour was it? Deck tan, which was XF55. That's it from the front. At this stage there's no glass fitted yet, only on the inside. It's actually got the window wipers already moulded in. Right, this is where I start the weathering now. And the first thing I'm going to do, I'll get a filter. And I actually use, it's actually a crimson red oil with Migamo odorless thinner. And all you do is load your brush and then take a lot of the excess off, and then just pull it down the direction of the rain would go. So you go from the bottom of the window to the bottom of the tram, and then it's nice, and if it's only a filter it's not actually a wash. Okay, so just keep pulling it down like that. And the secret is not to have too much on your brush. You can always add a bit more. In fact, I do 2 coats of the red. Okay, so just keep nice and gentle, making sure you keep taking the excess off your brush. Okay. So it does actually change. It does change the colour quite a lot, which I think it's quite a good effect. I do like to use filters on most of my builds. It really does add that nice touch. Now here I've masked the 2 bits off on the ends, and I've got to paint it Tamiya XF64, which is red brown. Okay, again thinned, 60% paint, 40% thinners, and nice and lightly, because you don't want to get overspray everywhere. Okay, and here's the other end. Again, nice and lightly, and go from the top, aim the brush downwards instead of going across, because you won't get no underspray then underneath. Okay, so that's it. The lights, I'm just showing you there that the inside of the lights I've got it sprayed silver. So what we'll do now, we're going to remove the mask. Again, take your time, just don't peel it off too quick. And there you go. So apart from the silver in the lights, that's the roof finished. Right, we're on to the base now, and I've actually got some gates here. And what I've done first, I've just primed them in grey, like that. Took a bit of cleaning up. There's a lot of flash around them bits there. But what I'm going to do, I've sprayed in grey, then I've sprayed in brown, XF64, and then I've done that XF25 on the top. I've done the chipping fluid, then that XF25, and now it is where I'm going to chip it off now with some water and a brush, and just gently rub it off until you get your desired effect. But once the water starts attacking it, it'll come off pretty easy. Don't get too mad. You don't want to take it all off. Like that, look, see, once it starts coming off, as you can see, look, it's quite a good effect actually. And then I'll do both sides as well. So there we go, look, nice and gentle. And this, don't put too much water on your brush as well. And then I'll just get a towel, pat it off, and then that's what the effect you get. Sorry, a bit out of focus there, but that's what I'm trying to get. Okay, so I'll do that on all of them. Right, now here, these are the telegraph poles, and what I've done, again, one shot primer grey with then I sprayed XF64 on the top. That's obviously the MIG chipping fluid, and that's the colour I've chose, XF26. So I'll just spray nice light coats. Again, same thin, the same and the same air pressure, and just build it up in layers. Don't get too mad. Making sure you move it all around, make sure you got it all covered. Okay. These come with the kit as well. Everything you see, apart from the fences I've just showed you, that's come with the kit. The wiring on the top there, I've had to do out of a bit of stretch sprue. Right, same as the fence. Get your water, and then just put. Now you don't want to flood it. We'll just put the water on, leave it for a few seconds, let it soak in, and then once it starts to soak in, it'll start peeling off. Okay, but I don't go too heavily chipped here, and just keep rubbing it nice and gentle. But once it starts peeling off, ease off a bit with the water, or else you'll end up taking too much off. Well, that's the effect I'm trying to get. You can just make that out, and do that over the whole of the lamppost. There's two of them, and that's it, finished there. It's all dried and chipped. I think that's come out good. Right, I should do a ping wash and a filter and that on them. That's me just showing you the stretch sprue there, which I've just snapped the one end off, and it'll have a wire going across the two then. Okay, so that's the two telegraph poles done, chipped, ready for weathering. Right, the base. Now what I've done here, I've primed it in MIG one shot black primer, just let it dry, and then I wanted to make sure I put a really good coat down because I want the black to go in between the joints. Now this is the colour I chose, neutral grey, which is XF53, and I also spray that all over. But I've really gone thin here because I don't want to lose the pre-shading in between the bricks. So nice light coats. Like I said, it's really thin. This is the first stage of the base. I'll show you what I'll do with the tram lines when I get to them. But just go all over like in that colour, and it should look like that when it's finished. You can still see it makes the bricks really stand out when you can see the black in between them. Okay, so that's what I'll do there. So that's all done, it's dried. And what I'm going to do is pick individual bricks out with different shades of grey. Okay, so that's, and this base, like I said, this base as well comes with the kit. So that's it. That's still the same. So make sure you get it everywhere. That's just showing you the tram lines, which will be sprayed a different colour. I'll show you that when we get to it. Okay. Right, these are the doors. That's the inside of the doors for the tram. And you can have them opened or you can have them closed, but I'll do one side closed, one side open. They're the inside, the middles, and then what you'll do, I'll flick them over then and paint the other half red. So that's it. All I had to do was glue the 3 bars on each one, and then the glass goes in between. Okay, this is where I've started painting them now, the different shades of grey. I think there was three different shades there, I think it was. And all I do is go around the whole lot like that, doing the different shades all over it. It's a bit time consuming, but the end result looks good. So I'll show you the different colours I've used in a bit. Right, it's nice and careful, just get a bit of music on, sit down, get yourself comfortable, and just paint away. It ain't going to be too neat, because a lot of that will be hid with the weathering. Okay, so that's the first grey, and it just be random. You're going to make it look, natural, like not, you'll know. As you can see, just take your time. So basically I'll do that all over, just highlighting different bricks. Now we've gone for a bit lighter colour this time. But like I said, don't worry about it being too light, because when you put the wash over the top, it will darken it down. That's why I wanted to go for lighter colours, so you'll still see them through the wash when I finish the wash. So just keep going. It does take a bit of time, but it is worth it. Okay, so nice and gentle. And these paints I'm using here are actually Migamo paints. They're different. I think there's a ghost grey, a light grey. The label will come off the other grey. I couldn't remember. I don't know what colour it was. And then all I do is thin it with water. Just put a bit in me palette, and then just get a bottle of water and just gently put a couple of drops in it. That's the first grey, 909. That's the second grey, which is the ghost grey. which is 203. Now I think this one's the one you can't see, but it's definitely grey, but I'm not sure which grey it is. Okay, so you do that all over. Right, what I've done now, I've masked off where the tram lines are, because I'm going to spray it silver, like a polished metal. So, and that's what I'm using there, MIG 191, which is steel. You don't need to thin this, so you can spray it straight out the bottle, and then just spray. All you're doing is spraying the tracks. You're going for like a polished metal effect, and make sure you get it, but don't go too heavy, because I want to leave the black in the actual recess bit. Okay, don't flood it as well, you won't get no paint bleed then. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do to the tracks, but when I do the wash, I'll do the wash over the whole lot, and just leave that to dry, and then we'll peel the masking tape off now. And again, just take your time peeling it off, because you don't want to pull the paint off. I did get a little bit of overspray there, which is only a little tiny bit, but the actual wash will hide all that. As you can see, there's no bleed there at all. Okay, nice and gently. As soon as I move my thumb out of the way, I can peel it off. Underneath there, I had to put a bit of balsa wood underneath there, because it was like a banana shape, and when you put the tram on, because there was nothing to support the weight, it kept bowing in the middle. Well, basically that's what it looks like. And then what I'll do, now I've done that, I should do all the bricks now the same all over. Well, apart from that bit of overspray there, it's come out good. Well, you won't see that once the wash is on it. Well, I did find another grey there, and I've just put a bit darker grey in as well. Okay, so that's all the individual bricks painted. But like I said, don't worry about it being too light, because that'll all darken off in a bit. Right, the wash I'm going to do is this Starship filth, which is the Aptalung, and I'll thin it. It's thinned with MIG ammo, odorless thinners, and all I'm doing is just paint it all over like that, making sure you're getting all the joints, get a really good generous coating. Well, as you can see, it has darkened off them bricks quite a lot, but when you wipe the excess off, you'll start to see it come through again. So make sure you really give it a good one. Again, in all the gaps, all the joints, in between all the tracks as well. And then what we'll do then, we'll leave that to dry. That's probably about that's had about an hour to dry, and all I do then is just soak some towel in some thinners, and you don't want to flood it though, don't go too heavy, and just take off the excess. Well, as you can see, you can make out the different shades of brick, and there you can still see the steel through it on the tracks. But what you're trying to do, you don't want to take it out, try not to take it out the joints, leave it in the joints. Okay, so I'll just keep doing that, and then take off, and when you're happy with it, just leave it. So yeah, I think that come out good. Oops. Here's just zooming it in so you can see close. But it's still wet. But yeah, I do take a bit more off after this. You can still make out the light, the different shades of the bricks. And that's it's actually dried now. Right, what I'm doing here now, I've glued all the parts on the fence and the two poles. And what I've done, I've thinned down PVA glue, watered it down really thin, and let it run in between the joints. And what I do then, I've got some Jarvis. It's like a scatter. It's a little very fine grass, and you just sprinkle it. I'll just sprinkle it over the PVA. So that's really thin, that is. But don't get it. I'll try not to get it all over the bricks as well. You only want it in the joints. And then what I'll show you then the next bit. But the poles are only super glued on, and the fence is only super glued as well. But that in the track bits, that's all loose. That'll come off in a bit. We'll keep doing it in little sections as well. Don't do loads because it dries too quick. Because we've been having a lot of warm weather here in the UK, and my stuff was drying too quick. So that's why I've gone really thin. So just nice and gentle, and just keep working it in the joints. Right, that's this scatter there now, and all I do is get in my fingers, sprinkle it on, and then lift the base up and shake the excess off, and you should be left with it just in the joint. So I'll pick it up now, nice and gently shake it off. Okay, so that's it. That's what it's going to look like when it's finished. But what you can do as well when it's dry, you can just brush it off a bit more as well if you think there's too much on. That there's a bit of brass wire which I've used for where the top of the tram touches where the electric goes through. This is the end bit now here. Just keep filling them joints in. If you do get it on the bricks, it's not a disaster. Because it's really thin as well, it's flowing in between the bricks, no problem. Okay, so I'll just keep going. And what I'll do, I'll show you. I'll do the final reveal on a different video, so I can actually show you close up and that of it finished. So I'll just say the secret is not to go don't do too much, because you don't want it drying on you. And I'd say I don't know how thin I've done it, it's like really thin. It's almost as thin as water, because I want it to flow in the joints. Okay, there, that pole, that wire I've knocked, it should have been in the middle, I've knocked it. That's why it's on the end like that. But again, I'm only doing small areas. And you can still see the black coming through on the joints. But I'm not going all over it. I'm doing it in patches as well, the green. So there we go, sprinkle it all over. And then shake off the excess. and just shake it into your tub and you can reuse it again. Okay, so that's all you do. That's all there is to it. I think it looks a good effect. So there we go. That's it finished.